It's that time of year, the sparkly extravaganza that is the Eurovision Song Contest. This year, the singing competition is celebrating its 60th. Wow. Its 60th anniversary. Wait, there's a specialist on it. Therefore, it promises to be bigger and, shall we say, more colorful than ever. The competition is being held in Vienna, and we will see Australia join the competition. We'll touch on that shortly. I'm trying to contain my excitement. Why it is still called the Eurovision is beyond me, but let's go to the real experts to hear more about it, and for that reason, we are joined in studio by Eurovision specialist Amit Dekel. Amit, good morning.
Good morning.
You do have a day job, but we are going to refer to you as the Eurovision specialist. Yeah. And, of course, Ami Kaufman with us in studio as well, and the bow tie is very excited, but I24 News, UK correspondent, European expert, whatnot, okay? A very, 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 very intelligent man by day, very big Eurovision fan at night. Okay, Jonathan Sacerdoti, with the flags behind you. Jonathan, good morning to you. And before we start anything, let's start with the straight report. Last night, the halftime, so to speak, the first halftime of the Eurovision. I'm sure you were watching. Tell us the low time, okay? The lowdown, Jonathan, of what basically, went down yesterday.
Well, good morning, Tel Aviv. Here are the votes of the London jury.
Yes.
Last night, the first semi-final is the first part of this extravaganza of song, camp, and flashing lights. Yes. And we saw that the following countries got through: Albania, Armenia, Russia, Romania, Hungary, Greece, Estonia, Georgia, Serbia, and Belgium. And that means, of course, that the others were eliminated: Moldova, Netherlands, Belarus, Denmark, Finland, and, tragically, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia.
And I have to, wow! And we must say, tragically. Okay, we're going to take this now and regroup, and I want to ask, seriously, I mean, this is it last night. We saw those pictures, Amit and Jonathan with me. We have to remind people the Eurovision is sacred, and it was sacred. And we've seen it change in the most bizarre and, shall I say, terrifying way over the course of the last several years. How many countries are now in the Eurovision?
I'm not going to use the bad words you mentioned. Why terrible? Why? Such a great show. It's one of the most popular shows in the world. Of course, one of the most longest-running competitions.
There's no criteria. Everybody's in it now.
Yeah, everybody, all over Europe. If you go back 20, 30 years ago, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, there were 20 countries in the competition, 2.5 hours, that's it. Today, you have 3 nights, 3 contests, and it's...
But it makes it, I mean, Jonathan with me, help me out here, because didn't you... I used to dress up for the Eurovision, living in Tel Aviv.
With feathers?
I'd sit with a nice dress, watching...
Well,
yes.
This competition last year was won by a bearded transvestite called Conchita Wurst. What more can you want from European Union?
But she wasn't the first. She wasn't the first, yeah.
This is the in-out referendum that Great Britain has been promised. And here it has arrived only a few days into David Cameron's new leadership. This is the most exciting moment of the year for people who like televised international events that don't involve balls or sports. So here we have a celebration of music, high camp, and terrible Europop, which everybody can join in with. There's statistics and voting for the geeks. There's flashing lights, beautiful music, fancy costumes for the fashionistas. And, of course, there's a little bit of music for those people who enjoy something terrible to help them sleep that night as they go to bed, seeing the new winner. And who will it be this year? For example, the Finnish band, who are hotly tipped, entirely made up of people with learning difficulties, has now been eliminated, which means that we're looking at some of the other favourites, like Sweden and, controversially, Australia, which has been allowed to enter just because, well, why the hell not? I mean, if you've got used to Israel being part of Europe in the Eurovision, why not let's mix things up a bit and put in Australia? Huge fans of the contest for many years, and now able to compete. And many are saying able to win. What's going to happen then?
Exactly. No, I mean, there's a headline about that as well.
There's a headline in The Independent. What happens if Australia wins? I think we have a picture of it. Because Australia is here just for a one-off because of the 60th contest, and it's like they're big fans in Australia.
Right.
So they're saying that if Australia wins, they will host it jointly with another EU country. Yeah. And not only that, Australia might even have the right to choose which EU country they want to host it with, and they're hoping that if Australia wins, they will choose Britain to host it there. So the Brits are hoping that Australia wins as well.
I'm sorry, that sounds to me really rigged. That sounds to me like something with the Commonwealth of people like that. Great. And I want to take this back to the past.
Yeah.
Okay, because in those years, Jonathan, you're still here. Don't worry. In the past, when I used to dress up, and we invited, I don't think people understand how huge it was in Israel. Rightfully mentioned by Jonathan. When Israel entered the competition, you'd hear people cheering from the streets.
Yeah.
And take us back to how important it was and what it meant to the country of Israel for the songs that won.
First of all, Israel was an empire in the Eurovision. Won twice in the 70s, finished twice second in the beginning of the 80s. So Israel was an empire, and people loved it. They were sitting in front of the television, empty streets outside, and just want to be part of Europe. And that's what's happening to the Russian and the former Yugoslavian countries today.
Right.
They are so excited to be part of it. When Israel was in the 70s in the contest.
No, and we're looking at some pictures. By the way, that is singing there is Ami Kaufman back in 1970.
That's me.
That's you, yeah.
1978 in Paris, Israel Cohen is bringing the first victory to Israel. And I can tell you that Israel is still today one of the most popular countries in the contest.
Seriously?
Yeah. Still.
When I watch it, everybody says, "Oh, they hate us. That's why they give us such
they hate
low
us
points."
because
the music sent in is well, I'm not going to say it.
First of all, Israel is singing in English this year, so I think it says
in English.
Yeah,
Israel
exactly.
has one
In
of
the past, the country is
songs this year.
It does, Jonathan? Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I mean, those were the days. And also, Amit, you reminded us that back in the day, Jonathan, you're loving this, aren't you? Look at that. Those were the days. But there was also, because Amit, you're bringing us back to the one and the best of, the best, I think, Eurovision of all time was 1979. Okay.
Yeah, in Binyanei Alma, in Jerusalem.
Hallelujah.
Yes. Look at the list of the songs. Socrates Superstar, and Gengis Khan, and Disco Tango, and Hallelujah, and many, many great songs. And for the fans and for the experts, this Eurovision Song Contest was the best ever. The stage was very unique. Today's.
No, I remember being a kid, and when this came up, we were looking at it going, wow, that is so, that is so modern. Look at what channel we're doing.
Exactly,
It's pretty high tech.
Isn't it high tech?
Those days, it was so unique, so modern. Yeah.
And look at those suspenders. And listen, I want to tell you guys that those suspenders, were actually the first shot out of the gate for what eventually was one of the biggest wins. And we're going to cue in Dana International. I want us all to listen because, Jonathan, you mentioned you won last year, but it was Israel who launched, equality and whatnot with the one and only Dana International. Let's take a look. Okay. Yes. But first of all, Dana International, apropos, Jonathan, I'm sure that, you remember that, and that was that was the first groundbreaking moment of the Eurovision, wasn't it?
Well, it's not the first. There are many. This is the wonderful thing about Eurovision. While it is, of course, a great laugh, it has enormous support from the gay community across Europe and the world. And this was shown when Dana International was able to win. And then last year, as I said, slightly more controversially in a way, it was somebody that looked like a woman but had a full beard and is in fact a man. Israel, for all its unpopularity in some senses across Europe and the world, has won 3 times, 1978, 1979, and 1998. Great Britain, for all its former empire, does pretty terribly these days.
True.
And this year should be no exception. Our song is absolutely rubbish.
I agree, yeah.
But, we've won 5 times, 1967, 1969, 1976, 1981, and, of course, 1991. Once using an American singer. Australia's entered now, but, frankly, 2 of the previous singers have been Australian, with Gina G and Olivia Newton-John. So, it's really a mix-up. It's a proper sign of what the world can do if we come together and just put aside our differences and concentrate on fun. Of course, until the voting, when that giant scoreboard comes up. And then we get to see exactly the nil points, the 12 points, and we get to see exactly which countries really hate which other countries and which countries love other countries. Because a couple of years ago,
a lot more every
year,
don't you?
Yes, but I think it starts and ends if you have a good song. If you got a good song, you're going to win or you're going to get very high in the competition. Right. There are politics, of course. There are blocks, the Russian bloc, the Yugoslavian bloc, the Cyprus and Greek bloc.
And now the Australian bloc.
We don't have any friends in the competition, but still we won 3 times. And I can tell you that I've been to the contest 10 times. I went to Helsinki, to Tallinn, to Riga,
You're a freak of nature.
Yeah, to Athens. And I can tell you, if I could if I could describe to you the madness going there, it's amazing. People love it, and it's a song contest.
But speaking, you know, it's a song contest at the end of the day, but as Jonathan, and I really admire your national pride, you know, given the fact that you've admitted that the British song is rubbish, but so is the Israeli one, isn't it? I mean, have you heard it?
I've heard it. I mean, I like Nadav Gach. I think he's a really amazing singer. I liked him on the reality show that he became famous on.
We had worse.
He's a really good singer. He's a very good singer.
Okay, we can look at the Israeli song for a short while. Let's go.
Before I leave, let me show you Tel Aviv.
Before I leave, let me show you Tel Aviv. But listen, I don't care. Jonathan Sacerdoti listened to that and he got down and jiggy with it.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want from me?
I think that
180 million people watched
from the last failures in the Eurovision, and they brought a song in English, only in English, 3 minutes, never happened before. Yeah. And I think it's got a good chance to qualify tomorrow to the final.
You think?
At least, yeah. I don't think it's going to win or get to the top 10. But I think it's
I haven't
it's
heard
a nice
it, but
song.
I hear Estonia's on flames this year.
Yeah.
But that's like, okay, boys, I mean, you're locked with us in studio. We could talk about this all night.
Yeah.
Jonathan, listen, I mean, I want you to get really excited for tonight. Fabulous, fabulous, that background behind you. Thank you for being with us this morning. I'm crazy in love with you today.